Blog Talk Radio.
And provided their amazing commentary and knowledge and information. A lot of these podcasts are being shared. Really needed this in a moment, and I just want to make sure that brothers out there, I got you, and don't, bring it back. So I appreciate you. As I said, without you, it'd be tough to do this show because truly, truly appreciate y'all. Again, also, yeah, I'll take the website right now. Besides this, digital marketing, social media, the bio, he's been around since 2014. Really, really check it out at Build Up Enterprises. A Enterprises. I got that Enterprises okay on that school that up in Patterson. Um, I don't know, this lady, she must have been a professor teacher. She saw waiting paths where in the parking lot people get their cars parked. My car. Surprising what? Like I did check like that school time, but let's go with that's a whole nother gambit of atrocities of misunderstandings. We'll get to that story another time because today we have an amazing, amazing guest named Christine Horn, excuse me, booking magnet, where she will be sharing wisdom with Hollywood-bound actors or basically anyone looking to figure out, certain things and whatnot. You can go check out her book right now on Amazon called The Booking Magnet, and go Amazon that search and pick that book up because Christine Horn is an award-winning actress and she's a life and career coach for actors, as well as the author of Playing Small: The Actor's Guide to Becoming a Booking Magnet. Inside her online show, Actors Daily Bread, and her podcast, The Hollywood-Bound Actor, Christine reveals how she cracks codes. So, that's every actor's dream, not just to act, but to actually get paid for it and to be, doing what you wished or being a part of projects that are really making their mark. Like yesterday, I was a part of Tracy Moore's class, and she had brought on amazing, amazing guests. I'm gonna have to talk about it soon. That just making part of that thing behind it. There's also a business, and I mean, it should be obvious. We live in America, or we live on a Earth, which is globalization to the max. So everything is being monetized. So if you really want to be part of the great projects, as she has performed Broadway and The Lion King and at the White House, or many, 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 many film and television appearances, her resume speaks for itself. So this is why you would want to be part of classes. And she believes that most actors play small. Their thought sabotage their success, and she's on a personal mission to help other actors master their mindset, acting, mark that way they can have the career they deserve and desire. So definitely go to her website, ChristineHorn.com. I mean, Christine is spelled ChristineHorn.com. And you can get that going, or go to HollywoodBoundActors.com. And after you do that, go to Amazon.com, and then get her book, Playing Small, The Actor's Guide to Become Booking. It's also on Audible, so if you want to check that out on Audible and just listen to that. But I have more coming about this yet. Miss Christine Horn, how you doing today?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
Yes, hear you loud and clear. It's an honor to have you on the podcast.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate the invite. I've been listening to some of your episodes. I've been enjoying it. You've got some good people that you've been talking to about some good stuff, so thank you.
Oh, anytime. I've been blessed to have great people like you and some of my past guests and some more upcoming great guests. Yeah, it's really about you, guests, and what the people are really seeking, and it's just an honor that I'm able to do that. For the people that may not know about you, who is Christine Horn, and what separates her from all these other actresses?
Well, I'm Christine Horn, and I'm from New York, from Bronx, New York, and I've always loved to act and create, and this has been a part of my thing. When people are in kindergarten, they say they want to be a firefighter or an astronaut. I always knew I wanted to perform in some way. I moved to Atlanta in the 90s, went to a performing arts high school called Tri-Cities High School. And then after that, went to a musical theater conservatory in New York called AMDA, American Musical Dramatic Academy. So I just always stayed training. I grew up in the theater. I was part of a youth theater company in Atlanta called the Youth Ensemble of Atlanta. So my training started on stage, and I think that's some of the best training any new or aspiring actor can get. And from there, I just, had all the jobs like many people. I was never afraid to have 2 and 3 jobs as side hustles to fuel my dream. Always had an entrepreneurial spirit, which is very important even in the entertainment industry as an artist. And, I would always produce things. I loved to produce concerts. I released 2 albums on my own record label back in the day. They're still on iTunes and, wherever you get music, and Spotify these days. I have produced short films and shows and pilots, just anything to stay creative and to make my own way. I've never been a fan of the wait and hope plan. I like to take my career into my own hands and just my life into my own hands. And so, my big break, for me was in 2006 when I booked The Lion King, and I did that show for about 5 years, 4 different companies. I did Broadway, Las Vegas, at Mandalay Bay, both national tours. I even got to do it, workshop it in Germany. So it started there, and then I got my film bug when I did Stomp the Yard. For those of you who are Stomp the Yard fans, part 1, I was the woman who was pushing Columbus Short around when he tried to cut me in line. And I just really got the bug for wanting to do more film as well. So after I left The Lion King, I knew TV and film was my next thing, and I had to learn that because I've done theater so long film and TV is such a different beast and element. And so that was a bit of a rough patch, but I figured some things out after, struggling in LA the first time I moved to Los Angeles in 2011. I didn't know what I didn't know, right? I knew I had talent. I knew I had drive, but I couldn't seem to figure out why I couldn't get auditions or an agent. And it was a rough time, and I'm very candid and transparent about that in my book. Thank you for shouting that out earlier. And so I just went back to Atlanta and lived in my mama's basement, got myself together, reset, studied, trained, did deep personal development, deep spiritual work, got to know myself, ended up getting married, and moved back to LA in 2017, Super Bowl Sunday to be exact. And my life has changed from there. I came back with a fierceness and a fire with all the stuff that I had learned. So many times people think just being an actor is just about looking cute on the camera. And it's deep work. And if you do the work of yourself, the more you know yourself, the more you can bring a different kind of life and experience to the characters you get to portray. And I moved here in 2017 and started just documenting, very Gary Vaynerchuk style. I just kind of started documenting my auditions and being on set, and I had no idea. I thought I was just talking to myself, just kind of sharing. And I found people started raising their hand. They started liking, strangers, not friends, mind you. People started asking questions. And it turned into this thing, this community. And I saw that there was clearly a need, especially for beginner actors and even actors who had reached a plateau, and especially for actors of color. They just felt like there was this huge void, and I just showed up. I feel like I got the call, and I showed up. Hollywood Bound Actors was born. And the show, the live streams I would do every day, turned into a show called Actors Daily Bread, which is now on YouTube, and we have, over 300 and something episodes on there. And from there, it turned into coaching clients. It turned into coaching offerings. And now I have one of the top courses out here in Hollywood called Book More TV because, again, I came from the theater, but I learned how to turn booking television into a game for me, and that's what I teach actors. So there's a ton of actors and acting coaches out here, and we all offer something unique and wonderful. I know you've had a chance to interview some, but what's unique about me as an actor and a coach is I try to be the coach I wish I had the first time I was in LA, clueless, savings dwindling, going broke, and being frustrated. I try to be the coach that I wish I had, and it really shows because the clients I work with, there's just a love and an energy and a warmth and I'm very direct, very much tough love because I feel like we don't have time to waste. Like we don't have time for me to blow smoke up your butt and just tell you you're great when you do need work. And so that's what I do. And as an actor, I have a high standard of excellence. The mentors I've had in my life, Freddie Hendricks to be one, the biggest one, and Boston Fielder, another one, they just exemplified excellence, and that's how I show up to my work, and that's why I work a lot. And so I basically just share my experiences directly with my clients. So that is my story in a nutshell.
And that's very, very amazing. You've been around the world and back, and made a great mark in LA. So much so that what are some of the foundational wisdom that
Can you repeat that? You're going in and out for me. Can you repeat the question?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I was saying.
There you go. That's better.
Okay, my bad. I was just switching mics. But what are some of the foundational pieces that you try to teach actors in your course so that they can keep their focus and mind straight on their goal of acting if that's truly what they want to do?
I love that question. My methodology that I teach is, it's going to sound funny, but I tell everybody, you got to get to know your mama. You got to get to know your mama in order to be successful in this industry. And MAMA is an acronym for mindset, acting, marketing, and auditioning. So talent alone is not enough in this business. You interviewed Wendy Elaine Wright, who talks a lot about that, about the business of show, really. And so one is not enough. So mindset, acting, marketing, and auditioning. So that's the format in which I teach. That's the methodology. Because what I find is, there are tons of coaches and classes actors take, even before the pandemic when we could go in person. But if the mindset is the biggest piece, and oftentimes people will say, well, just tell me how you book so much. Tell me how I can book more TV, film, commercials, voiceovers. And what a lot of actors don't want to hear is that your mindset has to be the first thing that changes. It's why I started calling myself the booking magnet, because I'm a huge believer and follower of the law of attraction. I know that I speak life to myself. I know I'm big in manifestation. And I started calling myself that, and now everybody calls me that. I train them to speak life into me, and I speak life into my clients as well. So the mindset is the biggest piece, because what comes up, and not just for actors, I'm sure anybody listening can relate, and I talk a lot about this in my book, but for actors, there's 7 major fears that they're dealing with on a daily basis. And again, that's fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of success, fear of not being good enough, fear of competition, fear of not having enough, and fear of time running out. I mean, we are in an industry that, praises the young and tells you if you're over 30, give it up. And that's the farthest thing from the truth. So it's like working on the mindset is the biggest piece. It's like daily armor. That's why I tell actors, like, personal development is huge. That's what helps to change my life. I started on YouTube, so it's not about how much spending a lot of money. I went to YouTube University, okay? Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar, Les Brown, Tony Robbins, Lisa Nichols, like just Bob Proctor. Really just every single day putting something on to motivate myself, putting something on to when I was working a 9 to 5, I would play Jim Rohn and Zig Ziglar, all these people in the car on my way to work, because I knew I was meant for more. So yes, I had this day job that paid my bills and allowed me to take classes and headshots and invest in myself, but I also knew I was meant for more, and I never let myself forget it. So it's those things that make an exceptional actor for me in this business, to sustain. Many actors are not big into the business side. A lot of actors hate marketing themselves. So that's why I'm all about mindset, acting, marketing, and audition technique. Because you may be the hottest thing in the world, but if you're the best kept secret, you're a secret. And I always say you can't be a secret and a success. So you have to choose which one you're going to be.
Wow, that's very deep. Because definitely got to make a choice at some point, whether a person's gonna work to achieve their goals, or if they're just okay, with either mediocrity or whatever they want to call it. That's very, very
right.
Interesting. There's all different types of acting jobs in Hollywood and around the world now. You said theater was your favorite type of, was your beginning type of medium. But what's like your favorite type of like acting to do or whatnot, like whether it's film, TV, or movies?
These days, I really love television. There's nothing like the theater, I have to say that. So I don't even feel like you can compare the two. Like the feeling of a live studio live audience, feeling their energy. It's no performance is the same. There's no do-overs. That's where you learn. That's where like you mess up. Oh well, you messed up tonight. And there's something about the way the lights hit you on stage. It's magical. It's an out-of-body experience that's unmatched. But where I'm at in my life now as far as quality of life and just not wanting to do 8 shows a week, it's a very grueling schedule, especially for Broadway type shows. I love TV because you get to, especially if you're recurring on a show, having the opportunity to create a character and get to see them unfold over the course of a season or the course of, many seasons. It's just a lot of fun. I'm recurring right now on a show called Snowfall on FX, and it was just fun, to expound on my character and see how she fit into the world of this show. And so I find TV is just my favorite right now. Though I love film, I was just in The Terminator, Triple Frontier, which is on Netflix. So I love film too, but it's like it's over. It's like 30 days max, and it's over. So it's kind of hard. You don't really get to sit in it the way you do with television.
Very, very interesting. And these are all different types of scripts that you have to master and really understand. What are some ways that you look at scripts and work to memorize them and really get into that character so that you can, become one with their thoughts in a way?
Well, for me, acting is very spiritual, and it's about telling the truth for the character you portray. I mean, I give lots of tips, and certainly more than I'll have time to share today. So if anyone wants more, you can go to the YouTube and look up Actors Daily Bread, memorizing. But, for me, and this is something I dive deeper into in Book More TV, but, for me, first thing I do is research, especially with television shows. You get an audition notification. Okay, what show is it? What network is it on? Because how I audition for CBS is different from how I audition for Tyler Perry, NBC, Fox, USA, Freeform, BET. Every show has a different vibe, tone, and pace to the shows. Every show looks different if you really pay attention. So that's the first thing I like to do. Do the research to see where am I going to be in the world of this character. If it's a film, I can at least research the director, the writer, see what kind of work they've done before. But then it's about, asking at the basic questions. Who am I? Where am I? What do I want? Who's in the scene with me? What's my relationship to them? It's really like playing a detective, really just being a detective and asking questions. And oftentimes we don't get the full script for auditions, not all the time. Most times we do not. And so you only have 2 pages or 5 pages from the whole script, and you're missing a lot of clues, a lot of pieces to the puzzle. So you really just have to ask questions. I wonder why Jack did this. I wonder why Jack doesn't like Mary. I wonder why. And I always tell my students, you're probably wrong. Now have fun. Make it up. You use whatever clues the casting director or the script has given you. And after that, you have to just make it up so that you can make a strong choice. And I always encourage actors to write a biography for their characters. So in the information you know about yourself, I want to challenge actors to know that much about their character. So even if the character says cop number 2, well, what's his name? When's his birthday? How long has he been on the force? Again, things you get to make up, and it's those details, those things, even though they're made up to you, will bring a depth and a layers to a character. So that's just the main thing, always knowing who you are, where you are, who are you with, what is your relationship to them, how do you feel about what's happening, and what do you want to get out of the scene? What's happening before the scene starts and what's going to happen after the scene ends. We can go much deeper, and there's so many methods and all this stuff, but, I always tell my students, you're going to study with a lot of acting teachers. You're going to read a lot of acting books, and they're all amazing. But at the end of the day, you just I would say, that's the Jamaican in me, is like eat the fish, spit out the bones. Put things in your toolbox. And when you have an audition, you get to pull out different tools. I don't believe it's one way or the highway. I believe each person gets to make and create their own unique gumbo, their own unique rinse and repeat system once they find it and find some confidence in it.
Definitely, and start getting those aha moments. That's definitely epic, and it's a great point you make as far as doing the work to really understand a character and that study, because a lot of people think that actors, all they do are just memorizing lines and regurgitating them, when there's a lot that goes into making sure that they can create a character in a way that everyone can understand and really tell that story. So that's something that I've been finding, in my different classes that's being reiterated a lot. And then on Clubhouse, people that want to get into acting are, really just scared about the memorization part, which is just one aspect.
Exactly.
I guess, it is a fear so many people need to overcome. What are some ways that you memorize or get your lines in your brain?
Well, first I start with what I just explained. I start with that process of research, because a lot of times people are so focused on the memorization they haven't built character. No one gets a prize just for being off book. Anybody can do that. So first step is the research, and here's why. as I look through the script, I start to understand. Once I've done that research in the beginning, I start to get a feel for what it is I'm doing. I create character first. I spend the time creating character. That way, when I start looking at my script, I start from top to bottom. I just keep reading the script over and over, top to bottom. Even if things are crossed out, read them because they're clues. Then I'll go through and write the subtext. So what is this? I see what the line is on paper, but what is she really saying? Like we all do in real life. Like we say something out loud, but we're thinking something else. So I like to always know what the subtext is, and that helps actually to memorize because you know what it is that you're trying to say. So that way, even if you drop a word here and there, you're still getting across the point of the writer, right? Our job is not to rewrite the script, but at least you're not so hung up because you know what it is you're trying to evoke and to say. Some other techniques, is just I like to record my lines, especially if I'm going to be busy. I don't spend hours and hours on auditions. I'm a busy person. I'm coaching. I'm, living my life, So if I'm like washing dishes or cooking, I'll listen to me say the lines. I'll read all the parts. I'll change my voice a bit just so I know what part was mine and what's the others, and listen to that. The words get in your brain that way. Again, line by line. A trick we used to do in theater, I used to do when I was doing a lot of theater where you have to memorize lots of, a huge script, in a short amount of time. I just would never let myself advance to the next line until I knew the line before. So that means I start with my first line, and then I keep going back. Then I got that one, I go to the next one. I got that, cool. If I mess up, I got to go back to the top. And that is just a process that I would do over a course of days, weeks, and that's how I would get the lines. I just would not let myself move past it. And I would challenge people also, like those of you who with like photographic type memories, really look at the page because you'd be surprised at how you just memorize stuff based on where it is in the page. Like that's how my brain works. I start to just see it. I know that line ends on page 2. And I know, especially when we have in-person auditions, and you have the script in your hand, just knowing what pages the words are on. So overall, the easiest thing to start with is just reading it over and over and then recording it. That's another way. And typing it out. Typing or writing it out really helps. That neurological connection of pen to paper to the brain is very effective as well.
Right, and that ties back into like law of attraction and writing one's goals out and dreams or aspirations or creating vision boards. Or even emotional freedom technique, which allows one to get in the feeling of their goals or whatever that they want to experience. We're going to definitely have somebody speak about EFT in an upcoming episode. Awesome. I want to shout out one of our sponsors, Dancing in Life. Everyone can go to dancingin life.com, and that's just a program created around dance so that people can feel better about their emotions or whatnot, and it's pretty cool, very interesting. And I would be shouting out one of our mic sponsors if it wasn't all weird earlier in the show. But we'll get all that tech stuff worked out soon and probably get some new sponsors in for that. Anyway, thanks to Sabina Tech and Blue for the great stuff. But back to the show, people could definitely go check out Amazon.com for your book and get that guide.
And it's on Audible. It's on Audible too. For those who don't want to have the paperback, you can listen to it on Audible. It's meant to be a quick read and meant to like just be in your audition bag. It's meant to read. It's not meant to be a thick novel. It's meant to like, I need that word today on fear success. I need that word today, and just flip to that page real quick. So. I didn't want the excuse for actors to be, it was too thick and I didn't have time. It's meant to just be a quick lift of spirits and a bit of inspiration.
Definitely, that's amazing. And plus, people have such short attention spans these days, anyway.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. The aspect of recording and listening to your lines and attaining books on such as yours on Audible is definitely a great tip, because there's actors like Tom Cruise that actually prefers to record his lines because apparently he's dyslexic and doesn't like reading. So that could go for a lot of people that may have issues maybe reading lines or staying focused for that long. But they probably have songs memorized that they don't even realize. A great number of them. So I could see how that cognitive tip that you provided is really something people got to think about and utilize in their acting endeavors as people try to figure out characters or whatnot. Because it's not just about memorization yet. There's definitely ways to make that easier on your brain.
Right.
Now, as far as the business side of acting, what are some things that you see a lot of actors make mistakes in, and as from your perspective?
I think the biggest mistake is just not being aware that there is a business side. That it's the hope and wait plan. It's the I'll get an agent, hopefully, and then hopefully my agent or manager will get me auditions, and hopefully I'll book some of them, and hopefully I'll become famous. And it's has not like that's it. And what needs to be learned is that yes, even if you get an agent or a manager, you still have to do a lot of the work. Your team gets 10%, you get 90%. So you have to do the work. You also have to market yourself and let people know you exist. Connect with casting directors. Go to workshops. Like, again, if anybody didn't listen to your interview with Wendy Elaine Wright, they absolutely should. It's amazing, and she's amazing. But, understanding your finances, keep putting your books in order, like, having a bookkeeper, keeping records and tracking your auditions, creating your own content, like treating yourself like the CEO of your business. There's an actor named Mike Moreno who has a great podcast called The Actor's CEO, and we talked recently, and that's just one of the biggest things, like imagining that your house, your bedroom, is the front doors of your corporation. And what's happening on that day? Are you just waiting for the phone to ring, or are you going to go out there and find some customers? Are you going to go out there and let the world know you exist and get creative in that? And so that's the biggest thing, just thinking that waiting is the only option. And I believe that that's a very sad place to be, because it leaves you powerless and it puts your career in someone else's hands. And that's the last place it should be.
Right, well, and almost leaving it to chance, and I could see how a lot of actors may think they're in Hollywood, but not really ever really have the real experience. So that's very interesting to me, because as I work to study acting and become a better storyteller myself, I hear stories of so many people that have come and gone, or people that have never really studied the business side or whatnot. Yet, you definitely don't want to repeat those, mistakes or life experiences. Yeah, so that's why I really appreciate, you having your Hollywood-bound actors course as well. Now, for people that are interested in taking that, what can the people look forward to with your course that you put together in the training center?
Well, yeah, the first thing I like to tell people, especially if they're not sure what they need, is to just join us. Our community is called Hollywood Bound Actors. Like you mentioned, we have a website and we have a podcast called The Hollywood Bound Actor. So that's the first thing. That's like the first door, the front doors of our business. I would say come join us on Facebook or somewhere online. I do live streams in there. We have a really engaged community. People ask questions. I do question and answers in there sometimes. And then if you think that there's something that you want to take further, the main two offerings that I offer are Book More TV, which is a 5-week online course. But I've made some amazing changes so that now not only is it 5 weeks where you learn all the aspects of television, how to audition for every genre, how to show up for sitcoms, mostly procedurals, medical dramas, film. Like I teach all of that, and the students now get lifetime access to me for our monthly Q&As, which is invaluable. I don't know another course that's doing that in that way. So that's the main thing. That's our largest community. It's so supportive. And other than that, I have more of a high-tier, more intense 6-month VIP program called The Inner Circle, where I work with a very, very small group of people. I'm talking like less than 10, and that's by application only. And that's for actors, new and seasoned, based on just their hustle, their drive, and what they're trying to accomplish. And if it aligns with me and I think I can help them, then we work together for a minimum of 6 months. But the best thing is to start by coming to the Hollywood Bound Actors Facebook group. And for the newbies, I like to call them my brand newbians, my green actors, like people who are aspiring. Maybe you're listening and you work a 9 to 5 and you've been thinking about dipping your toe in the water, but you don't even know where to begin. I have a program called the Breakout Star Academy, and that's for people who are brand new and like need to know about agents and headshots and demo reels and how to build a resume, like really basic stuff that a lot of people don't teach, and that's kind of like the entryway. That way you at least know what to expect of the industry, and then you can get your feet wet and see if you like it. But Book More TV has been really rocking it out. We have students all over from around the world. And it really doesn't matter. I just signed up a woman today from Toronto. We have people from Australia, South Africa, London. It doesn't matter where you're based, because what I'm teaching is how to master the camera. I'm teaching about your mindset, and that's all transferable, no matter what market you're in. But if you're listening and have any questions, just come to Hollywood Bound Actors. We have an email thing on there. You can always email for more information. But I'm really big on Instagram, at actress Christine Horn. You can always shoot me a DM. I'm big on stories. I do a lot of IG lives and reels for fun. So I'm easy to find.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. Not basically, but really helping people figure out how to turn themselves into a business and master their craft as people or actors really are seeking to do now and now more days, as COVID creates a lot of self-tape situations or whatnot. I definitely appreciate you for coming on the show. We're definitely going to wrap up in a second. Because your time is so precious and valuable, and people can definitely utilize part of your time by stopping into HollywoodBoundActors.com and getting a coach. That is amazing, because a lot of people don't realize getting a coach really, really helps. It's with what you want to do, because it's a person that's going to really cut off the mistakes that you might want to do that others may repeat, and get you on a smarter track. And it just takes an investment in yourself and a mindset change or whatnot. And real quick, though.
Absolutely. I just want to add this. Everybody has a coach. Like, I'm staring at a picture right now of Michael Jordan on my wall. Like, everybody has a coach. Serena Williams, Taraji Henson. Like, when people are, even celebrities you know and love, when they're on these sets, when they're filming and they're the lead, they have dialect coaches and speech coaches and acting coaches who are there with them every day. So it's you can always get better. And I believe that's what separates the pros from the wannabes, is understanding, hey, I don't know what I don't know. I have blind spots. So I think some people just think, I got it, I don't need that. That's what changed my life, getting coaches. And not just in the arena of acting, but even for business and for health.
Right.
So I just wanted to drop that in there.
Oh, no, that was a mega point. I'm so glad you dropped that in there because that was a bomb. I wish I had a bomb sound because you just dropped one. Oh, that was amazing. But real quick, because a lot of actors are having, to do a lot of self-tapes, what are some quick tips you have for actors so that they could knock out these self-tapes a bit easier and look better so they look better on the other side of casting or whatnot?
You know what? I have so many tips that probably won't have enough time for this. I do have a free 5-part course, video course. If you're listening, just grab it. It's go to tapelikeapro.com. Tapelikeapro.com. You'll get all 5 videos instantly. They're about 25 minutes each because I go in. But to answer a piece of the question, the biggest thing is good lighting, good sound. I should be able to see the color of your eyes. Don't have a crazy, backdrop. If you at least have a white wall, start with the sheet, iron it, please. Find a color that, the standard studio colors are gray. Those are the standard colors. So, even if money's tight, go to Walmart, Target, get a flat sheet, full-size flat sheet, and iron that baby. And just put it up. And if you're able to, invest in a ring light or some soft boxes. Again, you don't have to go super fancy to begin with, but if we can't see you and we can't hear you, casting is not going to make your tape go further than the first stop. So those are just the main things. And then the other thing I would say, again, I talk more about this in the series that you can get for free, Tape Like a Pro, is being able to create your environment. I see a lot of stiff actors seeking for permission to do anything. Read the stage directions. Understand what you're supposed to be doing and where you're supposed to be and how you're supposed to be dressed. And this is all the stuff I go so deep into is because it's just levels. But at least starting out, self-tapes are not going anywhere. I was in a room on Clubhouse the other night with a bunch of casting directors, and one was a friend of mine, and they're like, we're not seeing anybody for at least another year or so in person. So, if your self-tape game is not on point, you're not going to win. And the job doesn't always go to the best actor. The job goes to someone who knows how to audition well. And if you happen to be a good actor, even better. So, don't let tech scare you. Some people let tech scare them. I know I have a lot of students who were just used to going to a studio and having someone else tape them and edit. And then with COVID, that just was not an option. So don't be afraid of the tech. Go ahead and master it now because it's not going anywhere. But I would love, again, I go so deep into that, and that would probably be the best way I can support this community by just grabbing that free download.
Definitely, and I'm so glad you created that download so that the listeners can, get even more and more precise advice and tips on just even the self-taping, because as you said, it's not going anywhere soon.
No.
Yet.
Mm-mm.
So definitely, people definitely need to go to that site. And what was it again?
Tapelikeapro.com.
Tapelikeapro.com.
Yeah. Tape Like a Pro. And as soon as you get it, you'll check your email and you'll get a link to all the videos. It's super helpful. I'm extremely generous in case you can't tell. I give so much. So when actors come to me I don't have no money. Can you help me? I'm like, don't be lazy. Go to my YouTube. I have 300 videos. Go ahead, knock yourself out. Here's a video series. Watch it. So I make a way for people. Because I also remember many years ago being, a little financially challenged, but still having a dream. So I like to make sure I'm still able to pour into people, even if funds are tight, you can still learn from me and you can still be inspired by me. And if you follow me, you'll see I give and give and give and give. So it also lets you know, wow, what do I get when I pay? It's ridiculous, the way I over-deliver. But again, it goes back to abundance mindset. I don't believe in lack. I don't believe in holding secrets in. I believe, I learn, I teach, and I deserve to be compensated for my service. But I also believe, in pouring into others as well. So I find that balance very healthy for me.
Amazing. And everyone could go to ChristineHorn.com as well and check out all her social media and follow her and check out her amazing books and advice. So thank you, Christine Horn. You've been such a blessing to the airwaves of Blog Talk and iTunes and iHeart and everywhere else that we're broadcasting.
Oh, thank you.
So, our pleasure, our pleasure. It's an honor and a privilege, and, appreciate your time, and have a great rest of your evening over there in L.A., and keep up the great work.
Will.
Thank you.
You too. You're doing great stuff, and this content is super helpful. So kudos to you too, and for none of this is easy. It takes the organizing and scheduling and editing. So kudos to you too for creating content that's helpful. We need more of that.
My pleasure. I hope to continue doing this in greater and greater ways. And thanks again, Christine Horn, the amazing Christine Horn. There you have it, our wonderful listeners. My pleasure. Bye-bye. Thank you again. And there you go, our amazing listeners. We have the great Christine Horn on our airwaves. Definitely share this episode with not just actors and actresses, but all people alike that you may feel can see, get some help that, as far as inspiration, because we all need that in our life. You know what I mean? Like, we need to be focused and wanting to do greater things, and it just makes times better. And sometimes if it's just a simple, what can I do today to make things better, and it doesn't have to be complicated, so be it. Life does not have to be a complicated issue. So thank you, everyone, for listening and sharing, and really, I hope everyone goes to Christine Horn's site and sites and gets her content, because she's an amazing, amazing woman. Thank you, everybody, for sharing. You can also go to our website, let'sgoenterprises.com, and get some really amazing digital marketing services. I kid you not. If you go to that site, you're going to be like, dang, Vic, I didn't know you did that. What up? Let me stop. Anyway, I'm just excited because I had an amazing guest. So appreciate you, listeners and people. Please share the episodes with your friends on your Facebook, on your Twitter, anywhere, everywhere. And let's get these amazing facets of diamond wisdom pieces out to the people that can use it. So thank you, and peace and love, and we are his out.